Good morning. I'm super excited and obviously nervous, obviously, to present our brand to everyone in this format. I'm definitely better in person. So I'll try to talk slower and be more clear. But first, I want to say thank you for the opportunity. We are a small business based in Lehigh Valley. We're based in Nazareth. And we're super excited to talk about Andigrace. It's a new company, and we have our team members on, as well as my co-founder, John. So what is Andigrace? Andigrace, interestingly enough, started about a year ago, February. My business partner and co-founder and I, John, were at a soccer practice together. We have several years together, family and friends, and we were talking about frustrations, what's going on with health issues with his daughter and my husband and my GI issues, and just started talking and talking about frustrations. And, we thought, let's kind of conquer this. And John and I both have a history of wanting to improve the greater good for our families and our surroundings, and being on different boards together and running different organizations and volunteering kind of has been who we are individually and then together as a team. And so about a year ago, we started this concept of Andigrace. A lot of people ask me, where does Andigrace come from? Well, Andy is my daughter's name, and Grace is John's daughter's middle name. So this company is more than just a company for us. It's a personal mission to impact and create awareness, authenticity, and advocacy to those suffering in the food allergy industry. And just to give you a little statistics for those of you that may not be suffering from food allergies, but I'm guarantee you know someone that does or has the intolerance, is that there are 32 million Americans with food allergies. And it's interesting that we're having this conversation now during a pandemic, because this crisis is actually even more heightened with the food and some of the challenges I'll talk about later today. But 1 in 10 adults and 1 in 13 children. And so food allergies are not a dietary issue where we choose to be paleo or we choose to be on keto. These are lifelong, in most cases, sentences that could help, that can severely address your health, and in some cases can cause severe issues and death. And so the food allergy issue is more critical than we know, and there's very little education around it, very little awareness and transparency. But that's where Andigrace comes in. So we hope our mission is successful and we're on the right path. So food allergies are, if you're suffering from food allergy, we have gluten allergies and food allergies in our family. John also has them in his family as well. It is more than just overwhelming. It's something you think about every single day. Every time you put something in your mouth, you send your children out, you go out to dinner at a restaurant that you love. You have to think about what's in it, what am I eating, and what's going on, and then what the immediate long-term effects could be of a food allergy. So it definitely is hard, it's frustrating, it's challenging, it's expensive, and it's scary. So myself and John, my co-founder, really started this company based on frustration and lack of transparency. And we really do think we'll be disruptive in this space, where our goal is to create education and community around the food allergy conversation, but to be disruptive and really require and challenge companies to be transparent. And we know those that are suffering with food allergies are burdened every single day. They spend hours driving from one store to the other. This actually has accelerated dramatically, obviously, in the situation we're in now. But the average, I can speak as a mother of 3, the average time I spent on a Saturday is I usually go to 4 to 5 stores. If I don't go to 4 stores, I do 3 stores and I shop online. It is definitely frustrating finding food that is transparent in its labeling and that you can trust. It's expensive. It's a big investment in time. It's hard to find variety. The biggest issue right now we deal with is cross-contamination. So we might find something that might be gluten-free and not have dairy, but is it made in a plant that has dairy or is processed with wheat? Education around food allergies is very vague, and there's misinformation on labels. And so it's interesting that when John and I talk about this on a regular basis, we think about, we have an incredible country that regulates our food, and the FDA does a great job of it. And yet there's still a lot of misinformation, mislabeling, and lack of transparency around the food we eat. So this is my co-founder, John, and I. He's on the call today, so it's exciting to have our team on. And just a little bit about our bio, which you can look on our site. But we are two people from Nazareth with families dealing with this day in and day out. We both have run small companies before, John especially in Lehigh Valley. But really our focus is to educate and change and create a better environment for our children and for anybody dealing with these issues. So a little facts about our mission is that every 3 minutes, a food allergy reaction sends someone to the emergency room. And so that's a really critical issue in health and awareness that we look to challenge, and we expect to see change, and that's our mission. Common allergies, if you don't know, are milk, eggs, peanuts, which are legumes, tree nuts, which people think are peanuts, but they're not, shellfish, wheat, fish, and soy. Those are the common 8 allergies. And then there's a whole list of like sub-allergies that people deal with. Most people have actually more than one allergy. And some of them are lifelong death sentences in some way where they never go away. And some of the allergies actually you will outgrow. If you have them as a child, you can outgrow them before an adult. Gluten. Gluten's an interesting one. We're really focused on gluten as Andigrace and to be the masters of understanding gluten, because if you have a gluten allergy, you typically have another allergy. Gluten is interesting because there's a hype in the last couple of years about being gluten-free, and a lot of it's more dietary issues and weight, but actually there's a very large population of gluten intolerance, and we know from professionals that GI issues are on the rise. And if you have good, healthy gut, you have good, healthy body. And so gluten is a very big impact in what we deal with and what we look at for education, and how we try to become the experts in gluten and providing good transparency around this. So we have a pretty robust mission. I should say though, before I begin to talk about our mission, is that we started talking about the company a year ago. We launched in January this year. So when I say we're an infant, we're really a newborn. We launched in January, the end of January 2020. And so we've really been starting to ramp up what we can do, but I'll talk to you a little bit about our successes and obviously definitely our challenges with what's going on. Our mission is advocacy, awareness, and authenticity. So yes, we are a site that sells products, but that's not our mission. Our mission is to create community and education with experts and to create a trust in this environment so that when you come to Andigrace, you know that we've done our research, we've done the work for you, and that you can trust the products you're putting into your body are safe. And that we will put products and we will test our products consistently to make sure that they meet our standards. We really talk about our founders ourselves and how we deal with this as well. Education, we really think we can create a very big point of difference. And we're so proud to be a part of Lehigh Valley because the community in Lehigh Valley supporting small businesses and education, as well as health and awareness, is so strong. We feel like Lehigh Valley is such a great place because of the medical resources, the experts here, the awareness around it, the food resources, but there's definitely our challenges being in a small community, what is available and what education is available for our clients and our customers. And then we are really focused on ingredients. We have a team on in our company that are the ingredient guru. They check every ingredient. They have become the experts in it. We're super transparent about our ingredients, cross-contamination, and we categorize that in our site. And then we have an AG coding, which is really how we decide if a brand's right for us. And even a year ago, when we looked at products and we thought, okay, they're gluten-free, this makes sense. They have a really high reputation. And then a couple team members on our team, Theodore and Mike, said, these are not good products. They have cross-contamination. Let's take them off. So we are constantly editing our site and our product selection if it doesn't meet our standards. And then we really are looking at creating a community of influencers, professionals, experts, dietitians, doctors, to really talk about what's going on in this space so that our community of clients have a very safe space that they can reach out to us on our site and ask questions. We can share information that is informative and factual, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And then our last focus is really to create an app. And this app is to improve the experience of how you shop. So if you go to the grocery store, if you're on our site, if you're on vacation, You know exactly what you're eating, what you're doing with it. You can reach out, and the app is going to be a personalized consultation app. So we become your personal shopper. Wherever you are, whatever you need, you can trust that we have the answers for you and we'll do the work for you. And this is something that's huge for all of us that want to eat, obviously, and love food, but at the same time, those that are in this small niche community of allergies, because it saves time, it builds trust, and it builds a community. So we started out with discovery kits. We have 19 plus discovery kits. This really is our marketing strategy to allow you as a consumer to try a multitude of brands without a huge investment. It's a way for you to try brands you've never tried before, see if you like them, if you don't like them, share them with your friends and family. And our discovery kits will continue to grow as we create new demands and new products that we put on. We're constantly putting products on the site. And the discovery kits are fun. I mean, it's a great way for me. I got we get our discovery kits. My kids all tried the snacks. They're like, I never knew there was a gluten-free lollipop. This is great. So it's a way for us to educate and also build trust. We have some great brands. I'm not going to talk a lot about the brands because it's not about the brands we carry. It's about the mission and the education around what we're doing. But we have some great brands that you may or may not know. And these brands are well known in some space, and sometimes they're not well known. And so we look for really authentic brands. They may be hard to get. They may be hard to find. As John and I and the team travel, I do a lot of extensive travel international, and John does as well. We look for brands all over the US that can give us really high standard quality of food that we trust. So some are well known and some are not. And we'll continue to expand that. A lot of these are small businesses though, by the way, and founder businesses, which is really great because they can control how they manufacture and they can be more transparent about where the ingredients are sourced and where they come from. And we are working on a social strategy, and this is where the community comes in. We work on Instagram and Facebook to create community platforms, blogs. We're continuing to do that with experts and dietitians and doctors, as well as influencers. We're just getting started. So we love good recommendations. We love education around this. I mean, this is a new space for John, I, and the team. We know what we want. We see the mission behind it. We see the need of it, but we're always willing to learn. So I'm super excited and proud and honored to be a part of the 1 Million Cups community, because we can only learn from what you guys have seen and what's been successful, and really listening to our consumer and the communities of what their frustrations are will only make us stronger. So we have an AG code. It's just beginning. And this is how we code our products. We have very high standards from manufacturing, which by the way is not transparent at all in most cases, to cross-contamination, to safety. The FDA tries to regulate as best they can, but let's be honest, they can't police everything. And we have a high standard of what's in there and how they label. So we hope that this will elevate and build trust. And this is some of our team, and they're on the call today. We're all based in Lehigh Valley, New Jersey, and New York Metro, with the exception of Vicky, which is our international team member. And so we're proud to be on this call, and I'm happy to open up to questions. Our challenges right now, I can be honest with you, are getting inventory. When this pandemic happened, we thought we were in a good place to get inventory. And Mike constantly orders product every single week, and less than 20% comes in, sometimes 30% comes in. So if you look at your grocery stores now, the shelves are empty in the gluten-free aisles. That's a very big issue when you have critical need children and family members that have to eat specific food. So our challenge is, to be fully transparent right now, is inventory. Once we get more inventory, we're constantly loading on the site, and Mike is constantly looking for new ways to get inventory and vendors, and really going to the brands directly, we'll be in a better place. And so we are as challenged as everyone else is, but as a small company, the big guys have definitely taken over a lot of the big POs, and these really authentic brands are struggling to keep up with the demand. So that's our biggest challenge. What's next is our app awareness. We're working on some founder stories with brands, and really focusing on consultation and personalization.
Tom, thank you. Thank you for a great presentation. It was, and by the way, your messaging and how you how your team has really worked on the messaging part of your brand is really fascinating, and I think you've done a great job with that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to open up the floor for questions, but before I start looking at the chat, I just want to give you a quick feedback here. Tony said that the kits that you just showed in your presentation are great ideas. And I guess it just takes the guesswork out of it, right? So, what it is about. So I've got a quick question for you. So is Andigrace, is this a for-profit organization or a non-for-profit organization?
For-profit.
It's a for-profit.
Yeah.
And right now, is your business model 100% online?
Yes.
Okay.
100% direct to consumer. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So got a question from Chris here. So can you clarify on, he wants to know, are you a reseller of food?
Yes.
Or, okay. So you are practically buying from other large distributors or manufacturers.
Well, it's interesting you say that. We started out with distributors because as a new brand, the brands we want to carry also need to build trust that we can pay to buy. And so we started out with distributors, but we are quickly moving towards direct brand buy for a lot of reasons. One reason is to ensure that the quality of the food we get is 100% authentic and up to code and also not expired. Interesting. That's a little challenge of ours. The second thing is that when we deal directly with the brands, they're super transparent and honest. We spoke to Bobo's last night. We're speaking to the gluten-free bar guy today. They tell us like where they get their product from, where the ingredients come from, how they manufacture. So we get more education direct to brand. And that's the way we are going. We're working very quickly to move away and move to a direct to brand. But I can tell you that John and I have a mission to eventually create products that meet a market of frustration. For me, I just want a good piece of bread. I'll be honest with you. My husband and I you cannot eat a sandwich. You want to have good bread. John is Italian. Like he's used to having pasta and bread. So we're going to we have a goal long-term to create some good products that fill a void in the space. But right now we're working with brands directly and some distributors. The goal is to really be brand specific.
Great. So one quick comment to you. It's not a question in particular. Probably one of your team members can do that. If you can also share in our chat your social media links, or some information, and I'm pretty sure that some of our participants would like to, follow it. I also have John just did. Thank you, John. And then Dave Myers, one of our organizing committee members, also gave you a thumbs up. I believe that Dave knows about your business. So next question for you is, what is the basis of your revenue model? So how do you make money?
Well, we don't yet. Sorry, John. He knows, he's more transparent. We don't yet, but we will make money from products right now in the discovery kits, obviously. But as soon as we start to build community and we create this app that allows for personalization and consultation and for you to be able to shop anywhere, that will be a game changer, because then you're not just relying on us for just product, you're relying on us for trust. You'll be able to go anywhere and to make sure you have the right products. So that will be our long-term strategy. Right now it's brands, but we're not yet. We're not making money yet. I don't take a salary. John doesn't take a salary.
It's like,
we have a mission and we're focused on it. Right now it's inventory challenges though.
Yeah. And you're a startup right now. So,
Yeah.
we understand that of, not being able to take any compensation right now. And I think that'll be the case for a period of time. So another thing that you may want to think about, just just on a personal note, since there is also an educational component, to what you are doing, you may also want to see how that can tie to the overall revenue model, right? So revenue can be through products or through other, services that you can, certainly, provide. Just a thought. Renee has a question here for you. Do you do your own ingredient and cross-contamination testing? Or if not, then how is that determined?
So we don't do a third-party testing on our ingredients on products yet. We do education around it. The brands we carry are pretty transparent. If they're not, we actually are starting to delete them from our assortment. And we are looking to go towards brands more often that are certified. So there is a big difference between certified gluten-free and not, and just gluten-free. Certified is actually, they've been tested already. And then ideally, I don't know. We've talked about the third-party testing, John and I, over the course of a year. And do we decide to take brands and start third-party testing? And that may be something we go towards as we start to scale to brands that are newer and may not have the resources themselves to do it.
But at the present time, you don't do that, right?
No, no.
Yeah. Now, what about your test, compared to the FDA standards? How does that measure?
Well, let me see, should I be politically correct on this? So the FDA standards are, there's a couple things. So good manufacturing practices are big. So right now we ask brands for what their certifications are. So if they're gluten-free, they're certified gluten-free, non-GMO verified, those are all those standards that they have to apply for. With those, we can take those as part of our coding process. Good manufacturing practice is another one that we're requesting. But the FDA, the standards on this market are muddied, I'll say muddied in a manufacturing piece, because you could have a small mom and pop making it in a kitchen and selling it to, you know, the Trader Joe's of the world and their community. And then you could have guys like Bob Red Mills, which is a huge organization, lots of testing, manufacturing plants. So it just, our space is varied. And what the team does right now, as we speak, is they go through every product, every ingredient, they look through it, we catalog it, we log it onto our site, we research what it is, because interestingly enough, coconut oil can come in different forms and what is in them to make that form. So we have to educate right now on this. And then we rely on the community as well to give us some education on it, but we're still in the infancy stages. That's what we spend a lot of time on, is understanding ingredients and testing.
Okay, and I'm trying to match questions here as you're answering. So Sam, I'm going to come back to your question here. So Tina has a question for you. Do you customize food plans, not just for allergies, but for other dietary needs as well? Is that something that you all do at the present time or thinking about?
We're thinking about it, definitely. Part of this app and this kind of consultation grocer concept is part of this customization piece. And right now we don't. We're using discovery kits as our way to allow the consumer to try different things they may not have tried before. And the goal is to really change the conversation around how you pick food, why you pick it, what's in the food you eat. So definitely the app and the consultation grocer is where we're going with it.
Okay. So as a follow-up to that, do you think that, not right now, but, the eating out culture is pretty huge in this country.
Yeah.
So is there a way for you to, or your team to also work with restaurant menus? Because a lot of the time, if the numbers are pretty big,
yeah,
we're talking about millions of people having allergy, but a lot of the restaurant menus might not be friendly, to that group.
Well, even not even friendly. I mean, honestly, it's not even friendly. It's a lack of transparency. So you can go to a restaurant and they can say it's gluten-free or peanut-free, for example. And they use a product with a proprietary blended of a sauce that has a proprietary blend of ingredients, and it has a peanut protein in there that could cause a reaction. We're not there yet. We're not ready yet to combat that whole entire beast, because that's a very big industry to make change around. And education, that's, I'm going to write that down. Actually, you just made me think about education, educating chefs on how to cook this way, educating chefs on ingredients and asking questions is another avenue. We're not there yet, but definitely it is something that if you're in the community that we're talking about and we're creating conversation around, this is a conversation that needs to be had as well. Okay. It's not something I don't think we'll tackle right now, and we're not ready to, but it still coincides with this conversation. It's a critical issue.
Yeah, and I think I just saw a comment from Gary Shaw, one of our participants, especially talking about secondary revenue stream, and I think it ties to your your education piece of your business model, where he's suggesting that as you build your educational informational component, that you might consider publishing a book with that information, and that can be a secondary source of revenue stream, and might also tie to your to your education stream.
I love that idea.
Good. So a question for you, which I think this is a good one, and I was also thinking about it, right? So what does let's say, for example, if I am interested in your product, what stops me from going directly to the brand, right? So what is there? So what value are you providing? Can you share with us? I mean, we understand
Yeah.
we understand the different thing the company is doing, but what stops
Yeah.
me from going directly to the brand?
That's a good question. And that's what we have to think about too. The brands that we carry now are, some of them are not known. So, there's a couple things. If you're using Bob Red Mills, you can get it at Wegmans, Trader Joe's, everywhere. For us, there's a couple things around that. One, if we build trust in community, they know that we've already done our research. So they don't have to sit at the grocery store and look at the back of the packaging and go, oh gosh, like, does this have what I need? Is there cross contamination? So trust, number one. Number two is we are aimed to have low cost and convenience. So you don't have to go to many different places to find. If you go directly to site, you're going to that site. Now you have to go to this site, or you have to go to a different site. That's time wasted, and that experience is valuable to people. So low cost obviously is our focus. Education around the ingredients. And then a lot of the brands we carry, to be transparent, I had never even tried until we got into the space. So we're also giving options to the consumer on products that they may not have heard of that they can trust.
Okay, so this may tie to Sam's question. It's a good one. So if you're talking about that, right? So what does authentic mean from your from your business perspective? Because one of the things that we saw in your presentation was authentic. So
Yeah.
what does that mean? How do you want your audience to translate that?
A couple different ways. One is the authenticity on where the ingredients come from. So where they are sourced, how they're manufactured, if there's any contamination issues or anything like that, that's one way of authenticity for each brand. Two is authentic in the way that we discuss this information, that we're not the experts, we're using experts, and we are creating a community around experts. I'm not a doctor, John's not a doctor. We are a community. So being authentic and where we get the information from, being authentic in the community that we're creating. The other thing is being authentic in our pricing and our model and how we do it, providing low costs, being really the low cost leader in how we create this business model, and being authentic where we're from. I mean, when you say Nazareth, Pennsylvania, I mean, we have orders from all over the country. So you say Nazareth, Pennsylvania, you're like, why Nazareth, Pennsylvania? Well, it's who John and I are. It's where we're from. I mean, we want to be transparent in all avenues of it. If you're hiding something, you're not creating a good value to the consumer in all aspects. This community requires transparency and authenticity. If not, it could be deadly. I mean, we don't have a choice.
So as a part of that, you may already have that qualification within your team, but have you guys thought about adding someone in your team that comes from the medical community, that background?
Yes.
I think that might add more to when you're talking about not only brand but also in authenticity.
So we started the process already. We've reached out to, we're already reaching out, and we continue to reach out to professionals in our community, New Jersey and Pennsylvania, dietitians and allergists, specialists, nutritionists. So we've already started that conversation. We're offering them the kits to try, because we want them to see and give us feedback. Does this work? Does this product work? Do you like this brand? What is your patient saying about it? So we're in that process. That's a big focus for us.
Okay. Santiago, I'm going to come back to you. Santiago has a suggestion for the team. Give me a few minutes and I'll come back to you. So Don, who's your competition? So what are some other organizations or companies that are out there?
Thrive Market, Trader Joe's, You know, honestly, right now, Amazon and Walmart, since they have majority of the inventory of food in this day and age, um, those are some of our, we have some small guys like Thrives, and then we have the bigger guys. I mean, we are trying to create a brand that has trust, that happens to sell products. So those are grocery stores, online or not. We are a community, and our mission is to educate and be authentic about that, and build awareness around what you eat and why you should eat things and what's being done. So we just happen to sell products where our model's a little bit different. But right now, because we look like a grocer, those are our competitors right now.
Yeah. So what does, so, you know, based on, because some of the names that you mentioned there are pretty big, right? You know, they've got a lot of footprint, both nationally and internationally. So what distinguishes Andigrace, you know, from them? So what are some things that, you know, and I think you have, you know, you have said that, but can you also clarify that to us? So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I look at our
competition,
they offer a variety of products. What they're not offering is the community around the sufferers that are dealing with this, the education around what it's like to live with a food allergy, the research around manufacturing and labels, and looking at how products are labeled and what ingredients are. You know, you have a proprietary blend of an ingredient that might say a butter, and this butter might be blended with a different, you know, different proteins, like a pea protein, a nut protein. You know, what does that mean, and what actually is in those ingredients? That research is not being done by our competitors yet. They're offering products, they're offering promotions, they're offering value, but they're not offering the education around it and the trust around it. And if you look on these sites that we're on, these community sites and these community blogs that we're associated with, their frustration is buying something, thinking it's correct, getting home, and their child's face is blown up in there in the emergency room. I mean, it's pretty traumatic. So that's definitely our biggest point of difference.
Okay. So there's a question from Byron here, and I'm just going to, you know, I'm going to read this to you. So is there a new supplier of food products that is interested in being, or if there is a new supplier of food product that is interested in being recommended by our organization, do you have a summary of requirements that can be sent that outline the process for acceptance by your organization?
Yes,
and how do you start that discussion?
Yeah, so we can do that. You can definitely, I can send you the information through our site, or you can go and contact us through our website. And we have someone that actually vets all of our brands and our products and ingredients. And then we have a team that actually looks at the ingredients and loads them onto the site. So we can send you the requirements we expect, and to make sure that we're aligned with it. And at the same time, to be transparent too, is that sometimes we get brands that we think are aligned with it, and then we go product by product and we look at it and we say, oh, this says it doesn't have nuts. Good example, like no peanuts, but then you'll see the thing, it's been processed in a plant with peanuts. We're like, that doesn't help us, you know? So we still will track and test the information, or track and check the information to make sure it's accurate.
And it might be helpful, you know, if you, you know, or John here can also put down the website information.
Sure.
Or Andigrace here.
I'm sure John will. He's so fast. So hopefully he can do it.
Good. So, you know, and I think this is looking about your future plans. So is an allergy-friendly restaurant in your future plans?
I don't think John and I want to get in the food business in that way, but we're happy to support education around it. And if there is someone that's interested in getting into that space and creating an allergy-friendly restaurant, we're happy to educate them. Once we become better experts in this space, let's be honest, we're babies right now, so we don't know everything. And we have some good professionals in our community, happy to support them. But I don't think John and I are going to get in the food business that way.
One thing that you may want to consider here, you know, Girish had another suggestion, and I think it's, you know, something worth looking at. It is, what about, you know, and there might be already several that exist out there, but I don't know the quality of it. What about allergy-friendly recipes, right? That can be marketed as an educational, not only as an educational tool, but also as a brand. Okay.
Thank you for sharing that idea, because we just started on our social Instagram the last couple of weeks, putting recipes that match the foods that we put based on the brands. And so it is something that we could, you know, the recipe space though is rather congested, I'll be honest with you, because now the whole thing about being keto and gluten-free and paleo, But for us, we try to add as many good recipes that align with us and the brands we carry to match it to make it easier for the consumer. So it's a good point.
Yeah. A good question and a comment from Renee here. Can you establish Andigrace approval as something you can sell back to food producers as an additional revenue stream?
I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. I'll put that on my to-do list, John and I, that's a good idea. The
Yeah,
Andigrace
because,
coating, right?
right.
The
You
AB
know, so
coating.
I like an approval process. If I think if you're, that may tie back to your authenticity, that may tie back to your quality, right? I mean, value proposition that
Yeah,
you're presenting, and time may tie back to education. So I think it's a
yeah,
really good idea to think about.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so Robert has a question here for you regarding your, brand and mission of, of eat simply, eat safely. Does that go beyond food allergies? Does it include healthy food issues such as impact of saturated fats and other hydrogenate oil? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I can't say that.
Not not yet in
Okay.
the sense of like a focus, but you'd be surprised how much it correlates together. So, our everyone's body is so different and allergies are so different for every person, how they deal with them differently. Um, it does not, we don't address those, we don't address dietary issues. Although gluten, some people think is a dietary issue, and actually it's not. It can be an intolerance as well. And obviously celiac is a big disease. But we're not focused on dietary as much. No.
Okay.
So we don't have, like on our site, our brands though, interestingly enough, we were on a brand call yesterday. They said, oh, we have like a high protein bar that's like macro friendly, because like macros is the new diet trend, right? We do not advertise that, and not do we promote that. We want to promote that they don't cross contaminate. They only have 4 ingredients. Their oats are certified gluten free. Like for us, it's not the dietary piece. It's living with this challenge.
What about some local food, manufacturers
Yes.
in the Lehigh Valley?
We'll take some. We'll take recommendations.
Okay, do you work with? Do you work with? I mean, are there currently local food manufacturers that falls or that meets your criteria that you work with?
We don't know. We haven't looked at it yet, but John and I are definitely interested in meeting with them.
Okay.
So, I mean, the ultimate goal is to physically visit them and look at how they operate. So, anybody on this call, you have recommendations, I will be happy to, we can put my email and John's email on this chat too. I'm happy to be aware of this. I would love introductions because being in those plants and seeing how things are done educates us on all spectrums of it. And eventually we'd like to create some products our own that are aligned with our brand and meet this market. So it's nice to have a good community to work with.
Okay.
So I'd love that recommendation. That would be huge.
Okay. So hopefully you'll get some, and let me also, give some thought to that. As a follow up to, Robert's question here, how do you validate your analysis of foods when it may conflict with manufacturers' required labeling?
Yeah, they don't like that. Manufacturing is a very hot topic, and not a lot of manufacturers want you to be in there. We're going through the brands right now to build trust, because they usually, in some cases where we really like them a lot, and good brands let you have exposure to their manufacturing. They open it up because they're proud of it. It's the ones that don't or use multi-manufacturing plants. But we need to get in there, and we need to create this community, and we need to create this conversation around it so we can change the conversation. And it will not be easy. It's going to be challenging, and it will create a lot of unhappy brands in some cases and manufacturing, but I don't care.
Okay.
I really don't. And people need to know how things are made and what they're getting their food from and the ingredients, and how it's literally as clean as it could be, from picking in your own garden and your farm to putting on your dinner table. And I think we want to go back to that.
Okay. So as we are coming to the end of the presentation here, yeah, and actually Gary Shaw just commented, do you know of a local organization here in Bethlehem called Factory LLC?
I don't. I'll have to ask John. Does he?
Yeah, and if not, I can give you introduction. It's
Okay.
actually right behind Northampton Community College, the Fowler Center in South Bethlehem.
Okay.
Richard Thompson is the managing partner there. He was the gentleman that started Fresh Pets And it's
Oh,
yeah,
I
it's a
know
food.
exactly where they are. I'm trying to get into them. I'm stalking them on LinkedIn.
Okay, so it's a food incubator, right? So
Yeah.
they design and manufacture foods, but I think it certainly is worth a discussion with them. I'll see if I can help you.
Yeah, Raj, if you can introduce, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
yeah, we can certainly.
I'm sure John knows Richard though. John knows a lot of people
Okay,
in his Rolodex. I'll ask him.
yeah, John, I see that you know Richard. So okay,
Oh,
so
he does.
yeah, good. No, but I think that'll be. I think it'll be worth a while to have a conversation with Richard, and his group. And Richard has been a big supporter of what we do from the community perspective and also
Yeah.
from the college perspective. So as we are coming towards the end of the question, so Don, I'm pretty sure that you'll get a lot of feedback here as we move along here. So what we're going to do next is we are going to open up the floor for discussion. And before we do that, I'm going to let Santiago have some time. He's got an announcement. But before I move to him, so one final question. So one question that we asked to all of our presenter at the end is, so how can we as a community help you, right? You are a startup and you are growing, and your idea is to, to reach more, reach more people. So how can we help you?
Oh, there's a couple things. I think this call's been super helpful. Asking us questions that we may not have thought about, giving us suggestions. And then if you are this consumer as well, telling us what you deal with is one way. It makes us stronger to understand the market. Two is networking. So a good example is with Richard. I mean, those are great things that we want to have conversations. We have it in our list of wishes to do. And then the last is, share our brand with those that that are dealing with this, and share it with our brands on social and your friends and family. Because when we understand the community better and their needs and frustrations, it only helps us grow and pick brands better, understand the education around it, design how we need to work with professionals and what we need from the professionals community better. So I mean, this has been super helpful, and it just continuing. I asked John to put my email in the chat. I love feedback. We love feedback and recommendations. John and I hope we are humble founders. There are founders that are like, my idea, I don't care. And then there are us. John and I are like, listen, we're learning as we go. We want to be better. The better we are, the more we know, the better for our community. So I'm super proud of being part of this with Lehigh Valley. Really, it's nice to be in our own home.
No, wonderful, wonderful. And we'll see, how we can help you. And one thing that you all should certainly do is, I think John does that, anyway, is that, I mean, if you attend a 1 million cups every Wednesday morning on a regular basis, you don't have to attend every Wednesday morning, but whenever you can, that will also give you another way to, continue that discussion and continue that networking, because one big aspect of 1 million cup is not only presentation, but how can we help you take that next step, right? So what are some, as a startup, you need resources, you need contacts, there's a lot of different things, that is needed. So how can we, help you, get that? So, so with that, I'm going to let Santiago, you want to unmute your mic and share with us what you have in your mind.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sean and John. Our community has a number of food purveyors, as Raja and Shaul alluded to earlier. There are food startups. There's The Factory, which is a food incubator. There are beverage companies. There's a granola producer here in Bethlehem, actually. Baked goods. There's Safras, which deals with seasoning and different drinks around that. And my suggestion was going to be reaching out to all these small startups. The Factory is a very good one, because either you can get a unique product that's created just for your audience that maybe you would have exclusively. And it's possible that some of the other producers in the Valley that produce food products might be able to do the same thing. And that would create a uniqueness around not being competitive, because some of your products would be unique and or carry your seal of approval, which says it's already been tested and looked at. So when you receive that box of various types of items, that's all been checked out. And in addition, for the smaller startups that are just getting going, you become a pipeline for potential sales to help them grow either out of this current situation that we're in,
Yeah.
provides a distribution line that may not have been easy to get into, because the problem with a smaller food manufacturer getting on the shelves of a Wegmans or a premium billing on Amazon, it can be difficult and expensive, something that a small startup may not have.
Yeah.
Santiago, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm going to open up the floor for questions, discussion, comments. So all you've got to do is unmute your mic, and once you finish giving feedback, then you can mute your mic back again. So please, who wants to go next? Anybody has a particular feedback?
May I go again?
Yep.
Dawn, also,
Yep.
we have an organization called the Bethlehem Food Co-op here. And
Yep, I know it well. Yep.
their mission is food education, good food, and supporting local farms. So certainly someone I suggest, and at some point they're going to have a store. So maybe you could have a display that has all your pre-approved products.
Okay. That's a great idea.
Have you also reached out to any local high school administrators, and also, because I think that can tie into your educational component. So one of the things that we do from Northampton is we offer a dual enrollment class called an entrepreneurial mindset, and this is offered at 2 locations right now: the Bethlehem Area Tech and CIT, Career Institute and Technology, up at Easton. So these are all 11th and 12th graders. So one of the things that we are always looking for is projects, for them to work on during the semester, an applied project. And food always seems to be at the top of their list, because a lot of the kids are enrolled in the culinary program and other types of programs. So one thing that you may want to think about is that, how can you tie that to the educational component? And we can certainly help you with that, because we manage the course from Northampton.
Okay.
We're always looking for actual, real life, project or problem that the students can work in, while they are in, and they've got 16 weeks, and you've got 16 weeks to, work with them. So something for you to think about.
Yeah, I'd love to be a part of that. My son is most likely going to culinary school for college, probably Northampton. He's only a freshman in high school, but it's a passion. And I think education around how we cook and the food we're eating and allergies is huge. I'd love to hear from the students too, because they're kind of in this, the younger generations are really at the cutting edge of this, right? They've kind of started this trend in diet, but more about allergies as an issue. We have a snack kit for kids, which is huge for us. Right now the brand I was talking yesterday, I'll talk to the brand today. The founder of the other brand we're talking to today is about education on food and snack in schools, and how we can fill vending machines up with the right foods, because as a parent, it would be devastating, like, to send your kid to school and not know what they're going to eat. So it's something on our radar as well. And I'm actually asking our brands how they do it. How do they work with schools and educate them? But we created a discovery kit now to give parents a variety to send with their children, but getting into the schools is the next step, kind of educating them.
Good.
We have a lot to go with that, though. Our brands that we trust, that's what we're asking them. Like, how do you get your brand Bobo's out into the schools for snacks? And what did the schools say to you about your products? And so we can know what feedback's come up so far. Yeah.
Good.
But I'd love to. I love supporting Northampton. So if you need support or mentorship or projects or anything, just let me know. We're happy to help your students. So
good. Yeah. Any other feedback?
Yeah, Dawn, thank you very much. My granddaughter suffers from food allergies, and my daughter-in-law as well. And I know what they've been going through over the years. My daughter-in-law works at the CDC, and she's always investigating these kind of things. So I'm definitely going to connect them with connect her with your website. My granddaughter, not so much. But yeah, thanks a lot. A lot of helpful information, and I will definitely.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love for them on the site, or if they're on Facebook or Instagram. I don't know their age. Some of us are on both, and some of us are not. But I'd love to even chat and just let me know what they're dealing with and learn from them and their frustrations, because it only makes us better. So thank you.
Yeah. Great. Any other, and I see a lot of, comments and feedback on the chat. So you may want to, once I send you the recording, you can take a look
Yeah.
at it and what are some of the feedbacks that the
Some
participants
great
have.
ideas here. I'm loving these foundations and stuff. So thank you for that. I really, really appreciate it.
Good. Well, any other feedback?
Yeah, I have something to say.
Yep.
I put it in the chat. There's a company called Snacky Mats.
Yep.
M-A-T-Z, Snacky Mats. And they started a healthy food vending machine right here in the Lehigh Valley maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Because what motivated them is when you're stuck in the hospital with a family member and the cafeteria is no longer open and all they had were potato chips and soda, and they started a healthy vending machine, and they were always looking for the appropriate food sources for people that have different food allergies and sensitivities and preferences. So they would be a great company to compare notes with.
Okay.
Snacky Mats.
I saw that in your, Rita, is it Rita?
Yeah.
I saw that in your, I wrote it right away. I was like, this is a good idea. Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Feel free to use my name or I have their number if you need it.
Okay, perfect, Rita. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any other comment or feedback? So why don't we do this? It's about 10 right now, so we're coming towards the end of the program. Anybody wants to give any particular feedback on the PPP program or any of the the federal or the state funding? We can just do that quickly. If anybody wants to take the lead, let's do that. Otherwise, we'll move to announcements.
Hey, this is Diane.
Yep.
I just wanted to say that I'll be doing a meeting next Tuesday night regarding how you support your funding of your PPP loans so that you get forgiveness.
Great, and I think Diane, you have just shared that information on the chat too, because I saw that come. Thank you. So why don't we do this? So let's move to announcements. So would anybody like to announce any program that you are hosting or holding? Who wants to go first?
I'd like to go.
Go, Santiago.
Hey, what I wanted to say is this proves out that a community is better when they work together and we work together. And this is a wonderful example of what we can do. We're a small microcosm of what the Lehigh Valley is, but we all know many people within the Lehigh Valley, and we need to encourage everyone to get out there and do your thing, because we can make it happen. And you're not going to be doing it alone. There's going to be people like Raja and Gary and everyone else that's on this call, Girish, Sam, and the list goes on and on. Byron, I see in the crowd also. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you, everyone, for your support.
Thank you. Thank you, Santiago. And Rita, I saw that you posted your coffee talk. If you want
tomorrow's coffee talk is going to go back to the fact that we're all doing video conferencing. And this is going to be a discussion on how to make your video conferencing, whether you're an attendee or you're in a discussion group, how to make the best impression. So Coffee Talk's been running every week. It's for everyone here. We leave all the microphones open because it's about a conversation when we learn from each other how to really help ourselves with marketing.
Thank you.
The link's there for anyone that wants to register, right in the chat.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Rita.
I have an announcement to make. FIG, the FIG magazine, which has a circulation of over 94,000. Right now, if you have a Facebook, if you have a website, you can put FIG on your website and they will go ahead and distribute your company over to their people, their distribution list. Also, the chamber had their third round of monies, 45,000 this time. I don't even know if there's any money left. It opened up yesterday, so you may want to look at that for anyone who might need, $1,000. You don't have to be a member to qualify.
Okay.
Tonight's presentation at 6 o'clock will be on culture. I have Scott Belch, who was on the call last week, with a company called Nurture Culture, and we'll be talking about how to develop the best culture for your business and the connections in the chat.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Give us just a second. Once you are making an announcement, guys, also make sure that you post that information in the chat. So that way we will have a record of, if people want to, take a look at it. they certainly can go towards that. Girish?
Yes, this is Girish Sood from SCORE Lehigh Valley chapter chair. Just wanted to remind those on the list on the meeting here and others you may know in small businesses as they are struggling through this period. We are still open. We do regularly meet online with our clients to do coaching, mentoring, guiding them through the PPP process, and also looking forward for 30, 60, 90 days plan as to how to reopen and get back into the economic mainstream. So we're very much active, and all our services, as always, are free. So reach out to us at score.org. Go to your local chapter, Lehigh Valley, and we'll be getting back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Girish.
Raj, I'm gonna put in the chat a coupon code for 20% off of Andigrace. So I'll put it in the chat, and I'll also email it to you if you can send it out to your community. So that, and Sam, if you're please feel free to share it with your family as well. So I'll send it over in the chat right now.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. I think that's
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. Really, we're so honored.
Our pleasure, and I think your presentation was great. So there's a lot of good feedback and good comments. Pete, thank you for putting down Friends of Pete at Thursday at 4. And I'm assuming, Pete, that you're doing that twice a week right now, Tuesday and Thursday, and that's 100% through Zoom as well. It's really another great way to network and to get to know the community as well. Any other feedback? We can do one. We can take one more. Okay, so if there is no other feedback, Don, thank you very much to you and your team for taking your time and sharing your story. That's what the 1 Million Cup is about, and you are a 1 Million Cup alum right now. So one of the things that we do to all the presenters is that we give you a coffee mug, but I'll get that to you once things get back gets back a little bit to normal. And same thing with you, Sam. I know that you did a presentation about 2 weeks ago. A mug with your name on it as well. So have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and we will see you all next Wednesday. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or any of the member. I think there's one more comment here, one more message here. I just want to make sure. Well, anyway, let me just say it. Yep. Diane was just thanking everyone, so thank you as well, Diane. So we'll see you all next Wednesday, and feel free to recommend people to present at 1 Million Cups. We're always looking for presenters. All right.
Thank you. Thanks again for your time.
Yep. Have a great day. Thank you.
Bye.